Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, the military confirms the presence of foreign terrorists in the country.
So, according to the West Vietcom commander, there are 7 foreigners. I think the nationalities are Egyptian, Malaysian, Indonesian, at Singaporean.
Amid talks of a possible martial law extension in Mindanao.
I am not advocating for any continuance of the martial law. But if the local government units, the governors, mayors, and even congressmen would find it that it would be to the best interest of the Filipino in Mindanao, I would not hesitate to say yes.
Also, Chinese warships passing through Philippine waters.
If we had more assets, then the reaction could have been faster.
The verbal fishing deal with China.
You give China an ammunition to demolish our ruling.
And the opening of Pag-asa Island to tourists. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. President Rodrigo Duterte wants the Philippine Coast Guard to patrol the sea around Batanes following Chinese reclamation in disputed waters. Mr. Duterte says this move sends a clear message that the territory is ours. It will also help avoid another Scarborough Shoal scenario that took place back in 2012. Also, is China in possession or in position in the West Philippine Sea? Military officials clarify the president's statement in his 4th State of the Nation address. And will the armed forces recommend another martial law extension in Mindanao? Let's go straight to the source of the story, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Secretary, good to see you. Maraming salamat
Good morning,
for your
Pinky.
time.
Glad to be back again here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. You were with the president yesterday,
Yes,
finding out the situation in the earthquake, sir. What's the latest on Itbayat?
Yeah, the latest is the India RMC, which I am a chairman, and the armed forces are hard at work in trying to bring supplies to Itbayat because they are devastated. Actually, the entire Itbayat population is only 2,900, but practically everybody was affected. And there were only 15 totally destroyed houses, and others, so many are partially destroyed. So what they need is some food, shelters, tents. So at the moment, we are bringing in tents to Itbayat through Basco. Although there is a runway in Itbayat, it is not finished yet, so we cannot land our aircraft there, just very small aircraft. So the route is to Basco first, and then bring the supplies to Itbayat by boat or by helicopters.
So the runway in Itbayat, sir, is it not completed? Is it broken? Or
No, it's not completed. It's new. And according to the governor, the contractor abandoned the project.
yeah, that's right. That's why the president said.
Abandoned the project. I think just a little bit more, it will be finished already.
And the marching orders of the president to you, sir. Actually, I think the message was to you to two things. Well, yung runway po sa Itbayat, number 1 was to fix that, and even the one in, I think in
Basco.
In Basco to extend naman that one. The president directed that to you.
Yes, but I will be seeking the help of the DPWH because that's their job. In fact, the runway in Itbayat that was abandoned by the contractor is a project of the DPWH. So, sa kanila yun.
So paano ho kaya? So the DPWH has a mandate now to finish that runway?
Yeah. Yes, I already texted, even yesterday, I texted immediately Secretary Villar, and he said he will look into it.
And yung po sa Batanes runway is to extend this?
Extend it, yes.
The president has a message on wanting to extend that runway, sir.
Yes, extend the runway, because according to him, this is a strategic location, and we may need it for bigger planes later on.
Kailan ho kaya mauumpisahan yung sa Batanes, sir? Yung sa Basco?
Sa Basco, depends on I will talk to Secretary Villar kung when they will be able to start the project.
Even if it was directed to you, no, sir? Because it's a strategic
Well, if they will
location.
give us the mandate talaga, we can bring in our engineering brigade or battalion, army engineers to do the job. We can do it.
Sir, you know, the President, during that, so, sir, just to finish the update there from the NDRRMC, latest count is about eight dead.
8 dead.
Yeah.
1 missing. Now, this missing was actually when the house was about to collapse. He ran and went to a cave. Then the cave collapsed. Kaya nandun sa loob.
Yun na nga eh, yeah.
Nandun sa loob. And there were still wounded. There were 6 wounded that were evacuated to the Basco Hospital. 2 are serious, the 4 are not. So, considering what happened there, a very huge, very big earthquake, kunti lang it's very small casualties, so it's okay na rin.
Twin quakes pa,
Yeah,
sir.
twin quakes, one after the other, very big.
You know, when you, actually, the mayor was telling CNN Philippines, sir, that so far 9 are confirmed dead. That's the latest so far we're getting from the mayor of Itbayat. Sir, when pag tinignan ho kasi natin, for those who have been to, kasi the 3 biggest islands in Batanes would be Batan, where Basco is, Itbayat, where it was yung pinaka-center nung earthquake, and then the other one is Sabtang, I believe, sir. Yung sa Itbayat, well, everywhere, sir, kasi limestones ho talaga yung gawa ng mga bahay, mga bato. And talagang dinadaanan ho sila ng typhoon path, tapos ngayon earthquake. So at some point, these stones collapse.
Those collapse. But when we went around at Bayat yesterday by aerial recon, most of the houses were already constructed, not with limestones, but with already concrete and steel bars, siguro. Because only 15 houses collapsed. So these were according to the governor, these were the Spanish type, Spanish era houses that they used to continue to use. Just stones, patong-patong lang na stones, and then no rebars. So
Those are the ones that collapsed.
Yeah, collapsed.
So the president said that, well, 2 things that I wanted to discuss with you. One, we already did, is the extension of the runway, well, extension in Basco is number 1. The second was to finish the runway in Itbayat. But he also said, he told the Coast Guard, sir, to patrol Batanes Islands. That's what the president said. There are 2 islands there that are big ones. Sabi ko kay Mayor, is it ours? I do not see any. Pumunta ka siguro, lagyan mo ng some sort of symbolic, at sayang daw ho yun, dahil agawan na ngayon, nakawan ngayon ng lupa. Sir, how are you or the Coast Guard supposed to, or the local government unit supposed to go about this order of the president?
We have, I think the mandate, the directive of the president is clear for the Coast Guard to station even just 1 ship, 1 boat to patrol the area every now and then to deter all those poachers of our fish and anybody who will get inside our territory. Now, the northernmost island there is the Mabulis Island. Mabulis Island.
Okay, so
we already have a detachment there. Meron na tayong...
so lampas pa yan
lampas pa.
ng Itbayat. Okay.
Lampas pa. We have already a detachment there of Marines, and we have we built fishermen's shelter. So meron na tayong presence doon. All we need maybe is a Coast Guard station in Basco that can go around and patrol the areas regularly.
But, Secretary, what were the 2 big islands that the president was referring to?
It would be Batan Island, Batan, and Itbayat.
Yung dalawa. Then, sinabi niya kasi, sir, I see 2 big islands there. Is that ours? I want the Coast Guard to patrol that. So, my understanding, sir, it's neither Itbayat, Batan, or Sabtang. Meron pa did he mean something else, sir? Another
I think he was meaning, he was referring to this island.
these three. Okay. Sir,
Because we just told him about Mabulis, the most northernmost island, and apparently he didn't know that before. So, but there is no question that those islands are ours ever since. China respects that, everybody respects that, so I don't think aagawin sa atin yon unless somebody will attempt. And that is also, according to him, as a choke point between from the Pacific to the South China Sea. That's the only checkpoint. So we should develop the area so that we can deploy our troops there anytime we want. That's why he needs the runways to be.
okay, so we're sure it's these three big
It's ours,
islands, sir,
it's
not
ours.
two other islands that you probably saw on an aerial view.
Because those are the three big islands of Batanes island group. The others are very small already, Mabulis and others.
Secretary, kailan ho mag-uumpisa yung pagpapatrol?
Immediately, I think in a couple of days or weeks na makalandon na yung mga po natin. Because that's the directive.
We'll be taking a short break with Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Sir, for the record, the Chinese aircraft carrier Liaoning passed through Philippine waters, which is the Sibutu Strait.
Cebu Strait. Yeah.
Did they pass through the Sibutu Strait?
I have asked our commander in Tawi-Tawi, Colonel Balutan, and he said they did not see any aircraft carrier passing the strait in the past 6 months. But there were 4 instances, according to him, that there were Chinese warships that passed through there. Twice, more than one, I think 2, and then twice also just one ship. Now, they did not respond to any challenge, nor are their AES, the identification system, was shut off. So they cannot be monitored, but they can be seen visually.
So you see it through the naked eye. Ganun
Naked
ho ba
eye,
yun
yeah.
is what you mean?
Yeah.
So si Colonel, did you say Balutan,
Balutan.
sir? Si Colonel Balutan is telling you he did not see
Yeah.
any of the warships pass, even the small ones,
No, he
saw the 4.
His people saw them. They reported to him. Yeah.
that there were 4
4, yes.
na nakita through the naked eye.
Yes.
Pero hindi po nakita yung sinasabing Liaoning.
No.
So just to educate us, sir, ano ho ba yung difference ni Liaoning, which is an aircraft carrier, and the small warship, sir?
Very, very big difference, Pinky. Because the aircraft carrier, there is a big deck in front, flat top yan eh. It's a flat top. And you can normally see aircraft on the deck. But for the warship, just plain and simple configuration of the warship with some gun turrets, that's it. And it's smaller.
Much.
Much smaller than aircraft carrier.
So you spoke to the Chinese ambassador after the State of the Nation address, and you had asked him
Yeah.
about Liaoning, and what did he say, sir?
He said that, no, according to him, the Liaoning did not pass through the Cebu Strait. But I told him that according to our troops on the ground, there were 4 instances that your warships passed there. And so he said, anyway, in the future, he said, I'm going to ask those warships, if they pass through your waters, to inform us at the embassy so that they can inform us also at the defense.
But would you just take it as that, Secretary, that anyway, he said that we will just inform the Chinese embassy if our warships will pass through Philippine waters?
Now, we will also use our own means to really monitor their movements in our territorial waters, especially the Cebu Strait.
The problem here, sir, is the media reports are showing, and I think it was a Taiwanese media report showing this, and of course, Jay Badumbakal tweeted this as well, that the Liaoning did pass the Sibutu Strait, and this is actually...
In 25 July, no?
Yeah, the route that
That's
was...
very recent. That's very recent, no?
No, sir. He tweeted that July 25.
Oh, July
but
25,
yeah,
yeah.
the tweet was July 25. So parang sinasabi, sir, dumaan ho talaga si Liao Ning. What is your reaction to that? Is that something that you would believe in, look into?
It may be possible. They might have passed through in the dead of the night, and since they do not open their AES, the identification system, AIS, then our radar cannot detect them, nor can our watchers see them because it's dark.
Gabi.
Gabi.
But why would the Chinese ambassador not admit it, sir?
I don't know. I don't know if why he did not admit it.
Would you seek any clarification from him, sir?
Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Yeah.
What is the rule or regulation, sir, kapag dumaan? And first is, parang I heard an interview, sir, sinabi nyo, kapag warship, kailangan magpaalam. Kapag commercial fishing vessel, hindi na po kailangan magpaalam. Is that true, sir?
Fishing vessels and commercial vessels, they just if it is innocent passage, they can pass through without asking permission or informing us who they are. For warships of other countries, at least they should inform us. Hindi naman sila magpaalam because it is an international passageway. They don't need to ask permission. But if they pass through, they should inform us where they are coming from and where they are going.
That's clear.
That's clear, yeah.
Sir, the question is, when we look at that route that the Liaoning took, if we believe it, sir, why would, just for our education, anybody like circle the Philippines? Ano ho kaya, what would that be for?
If that is the route that it took from China, went to Pacific, then go.
Ababa.
I do not consider that as an innocent passage. What is his purpose in going around our country?
What would be the purpose?
I don't know. I don't know. I have to ask them.
But it's not, definitely, it's not an innocent passage.
Yeah, it's
So
not
why would it circle, I guess is what I'm trying to find out. Why would it circle us if we were to believe that?
Yeah, I don't know the answer, Pinky.
Secretary, so what are you going to do? Possibly get some more information from the Chinese ambassador regarding this?
Enforce our authority in this strait because that's actually territorial waters of the Philippines.
But would that be some sort of, I don't know, some presence, harassment? What could that?
No.
I mean, why would a warship go around? Really, it's me innocently asking.
Yeah. According to some, this warship may have come from Africa, and they were returning to China. But even then, why do they have to go around to the Cebu Strait when they can pass to the Malacca Strait to the South China Sea and direct there? So
Yeah.
it's more direct. It's nearer. Why would they pass to the Cebu Strait? So,
How important is it for you to find out the reason for that, sir?
it's important because it's for security reasons also for the Philippines because even all other countries, the U.S., Australia, or England, or whatever, they inform us that they are passing. But this time, the Chinese did not.
What kind of violation would that be?
Well, it's not a criminal violation, but it is just a failure to observe
Like protocol?
courtesy, protocol or common courtesy.
You already said, sir, during previous interviews, I remember there was a turnover of equipment to the Coast Guard, about 400 million, if I'm not
That's
mistaken,
right.
sir.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a bit of good news. But the challenge, you said, remains on kulang pa rin ang equipment and how to monitor such activities. Where are we, sir, in terms of doing that? Because I understand that you also plan to visit some European countries in September?
Yes. But then, since the Coast Guard is not under my department, then I cannot fight for them. Although I will support whatever projects they will have, especially if the project is suggested by Secretary Togade.
Because
But
the
I
Coast
really
Guard is
believe,
under...
because I go around the country and I see the sorry state of our Coast Guard stations. They don't have any ship. When I went to Siargao, there were 2 Coast Guard people there. They don't have any ship. So I told them, how do you patrol the seashore of this tourist area? We don't have ships. So I told the Coast Guard commander that maybe they should ask for more resources and more people because now there are only 12,000 Coast Guards, and very huge coastlines that they are guarding. They intend to increase the number to 40,000. And if they do that, I think they need more equipment, more small ships, big ships. Especially if they now want to patrol Pag-asa or the West Philippine Sea, they need
And
bigger
Batanes.
ships. And Batanes need bigger ships because these small ships cannot withstand the big waves in the South China Sea. Or
Pero
West
at least nakatulong, sir. At least merong that's good
Yeah,
news,
of
yung
course.
500 million
Of
pesos
course,
worth of equipment,
of
no?
course. They got a lot of small boats, speedboats, which they demonstrated for a while when I was there. And nakakatuwa naman. I'm very happy for them that they got the equipment already.
What a difficult and challenging task, sir. You have 12,000 staff or employees of the Coast Guard, which again, as the Secretary said, is under the DOTR and not under the AFP. Na nagtatanong nga yung iba, bakit nandun sa Coast Guard? Pero pag sabi naman, pagdating, if there is, well,
So war.
yeah, if there's a war, doon naman
They
eventually
revert back to the Navy.
babalik ang Coast Guard sa Navy. Should it be under, do you feel it should be under the DOTR or it should really be under the Navy, sir?
I think it should be under the DOTR during peacetime because they are really law enforcement agencies. Plus, if they are under the Navy, which they were before, you cannot. There are lots of countries who would like to donate to the Coast Guard, but they are prevented from doing so because it's to the military. They want it to the Coast Guard and civilian.
It becomes civilian.
Japan, I think United States also, and everybody else. So that's why it was removed from the Navy and put under the DOTR, which is the same as the system in the U.S.
Oh, okay. Oh, is it? Okay. So, and with that, kulang pa rin. Nalipat
Kulang pa rin
na
talaga.
para makatulong and yet kulang pa rin. All right. But hopefully, sabi mo nga from 12,000 to about, did you say 40,000? That's
40,000.
more than 300%
Yes,
increase
yeah,
in their staffing.
It will not be this big lot, but it will be through the years. They will increment. They will increase the personnel.
And with that, of course, is the question on terrorists making their way inside the Philippines. There are reports, there are about 7 of them in Mindanao. We'll be asking that. We'll be asking that and more from Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Sir, 7 bomb-making experts in Holo. You gave the nationalities already. We aired that a while ago.
Yes,
Egyptian, Malaysian, Singaporean, Indonesian. Sir, how big of a threat is this?
It is huge because first they can do they can blow themselves up because we know that these people are not averse to blowing themselves up. Plus, they can teach our local terrorists to make bombs. That's very dangerous or very concerning for the Defense Department, also with the police. Now, we hope to contain them in Holo, where they are now, so that they cannot move to Basilan or Cotabato or Central Mindanao, or even in other places like Visayas and Metro Manila. That is what we are guarding against.
Is the military closing in?
Yes, we have a huge operation going on in Pulo to flush them out and to finally stop this babusayap.
To be clear, Secretary, they are possibly two things. There could be they could be possibly be suicide bombers themselves, or them also teaching bomb making
right,
too.
yeah.
Pareho, they can be both.
They are both very dangerous people, especially this group that came from Syria.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are getting out of Syria because the territory is getting smaller. So they are going back to where they came from. According to some experts, there were about 100 Indonesians who were there in Syria, and they expect that some of them or many of them will be back to Indonesia. Even Australia have 5 fighters there in Syria. That's why they're trying to toy with the idea of really preventing them from coming back, or because they are citizens of Australia. So that's a problem. Malaysians also, and Singaporeans. So I was surprised to see some Egyptians there in the group. But we are really monitoring their. Palit lang naman yung yung hulo, and we are bringing in more troops for the operation.
And I guess the question would be, the most typical question would be, paano ho nakakapasok? But because...
Yeah. The sea there, the Sulu Sea is so vast, Pinky, that you cannot patrol it unless we fill in a lot of our small boats and maybe aircraft and drones to patrol the area, which we are actually acquiring. Pretty soon we will get delivery of these drones that could be used in the south. Until we do that and put more coast guards maybe in all of some of the
that areas,
major thoroughfares, then we will not be able to prevent them from coming in.
But a bit of good news, you're saying that the military is closing in on the 7th, sir?
Yeah, we're closing in.
And you're hoping to neutralize them as soon as when?
We were giving them 3 months to 6 months for the rest of the year.
Sure, over and above that is that this story on jihadists also in Mindanao. I don't know. I know that you haven't confirmed this, but there are reports of about 100 of them in Mindanao, sir.
We are still confirming that. It's still a news or report, but according to our troops, our commanders in Central Mindanao, we cannot see where these 100 people are hiding, because if there are so many of them, then they will be very obvious. Pero there's none actually. You cannot detect them. We have fielded a lot of our intelligence people there, plus talking to the civilians, especially the MILF, because they are with us now. And there's no confirmation of the 100.
So you don't believe this?
I don't believe that.
Sir, just very quickly, Pag-asa Island, I know this came from you also, that yung beaching ramp na tinatawag, kailangan ho ito para mapaayos yung runway doon sa Pag-asa Island and number 2 to make it a tourist destination. Sir, kailan matatapos yung beaching ramp at kailan kaya matatapos yung runway?
The beaching ramp has been under construction for the past 1 year and a half. But the contractor is prevented from continuously doing the job because of a lot of problems like bad weather.
Yeah.
And for a while, they were stymied by the hard rock beneath just at the approach of the beaching ramp, and they had to drill it and dig out the rocks. But they tell me that maybe end of this year we'll be finishing the beaching ramp, and this will be used to bring in heavy equipment, construction materials, sand, gravel, steels, and cement.
Yeah.
And mixers also.
Okay, just a quick one, sir. Sandy Cay, is it with China already? Is Sandy Cay with China?
No. Sandy Cay is actually within sight of Pag-asa. It's part, to us, it's part of Pag-asa actually, because it's the shallow waters, and nobody is there.
Okay.
It is free of any troops or any occupants.
Okay, we've run out of time. Maraming salamat kay Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana. Sir, always good to have you. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Salamat,
Thank you
Pinky.
for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.
Okay.